The moment the word widower left my daughter-in-law's mouth, the dining room fell silent. Not the polite, accidental silence of a paused conversation. No. This silence was sharp, sudden, carved into existence like a blade slicing through warm air. My fork hovered above my plate. My son Ethan froze mid-bite. Even the ceiling fan seemed to stutter in its rotation. And all I could think was, she didn't just insult me. She insulted my wife. My wife who had died only 8 months earlier. My wife whose laughter had once filled this very dining room. My wife whose seat remained empty, but somehow still alive in memory. But Chloe, my son's wife, leaned back with a smirk, as if she enjoyed the way her cruelty echoed across the table. I said, "Shut up, widower, you talk too much." Her voice dripped with venom, but beneath it was something else, something darker. Contempt. It wasn't the first time she'd disrespected me since I'd moved in temporarily after my surgery. She had mocked my age, my habits, my grief, even the way I folded laundry. But tonight was the last time. Chloe didn't know it then. She didn't understand the line she had just crossed. But the next day, she would lose everything. The dinner that changed everything. It had started innocently. A simple dinner. A simple conversation. Ethan was talking about his job, stressful deadlines, a new manager, the constant pressure. I said gently, "Work comes and goes, son. What matters is your integrity and your..." Slam. Chloe's palm hit the table so hard the plates rattled. "For God's sake, can you not lecture for once? You're a widower living in our house, eating our food, and you still think anyone wants your advice." The words burned. Ethan reached for her arm, whispering, "Chloe, stop." "Oh, please," she snapped. "You know I'm right. He's been here for months. When are we supposed to get our life back, Ethan? Your mother died 8 months ago. Move on, and he should too instead of acting like some tragic hero." A cold pain spread through my chest. It wasn't anger, it was heartbreak. I looked at my son, silently pleading. "Defend me. Defend your mother's memory. Defend something." But Ethan's eyes dropped to his plate. And he said nothing. His silence cut deeper than Chloe's words. Chloe smirked, triumphant. "See, even he agrees. Just keep quiet and eat, widower." That word again. Thrown like a dagger. I set my fork down, not gently this time, but with deliberate care, the way someone sets down something fragile before walking away forever. I stood and said calmly, "Thank you for dinner," and walked away. Behind me, Chloe muttered, "Finally, peace." If only she knew. If only she understood the kind of man she had just dismissed. If only she knew that her peace would end at dawn. My wife's promise. I closed the door to the guest room, the room I'd been given because apparently my presence ruined the aesthetic of the living room. I sat on the edge of the bed and opened the old leather folder my wife had left me. The corners were worn, the smell familiar, the memories painful. Inside was her last handwritten letter. Her handwriting trembled, but her words were strong. "If anyone disrespects you, if anyone tries to shrink you, stand tall. You gave me dignity my whole life. Never let anyone take yours." My throat tightened. I read it again and again until my vision blurred. My wife's voice echoed in my mind. "Stand tall." Then I pulled out the second document, the one Chloe didn't know existed. The deed to the lake house. The house Ethan and Chloe bragged about. The house they planned to sell for profit. The house they believed had already been willed to them. But it hadn't, because my wife had insisted. Do not transfer anything until Ethan marries someone kind, someone who deserves to be in our family. Chloe was the farthest thing from that. My wife had seen her clearly, even when Ethan had not. The hidden conversation. The next morning, before the sun warmed the curtains, I made the call. My lawyer answered on the second ring. "Is it time?" he asked quietly. "It is," I said. He had expected this. We had prepared for this. "I'll finalize everything today," he replied. When I entered the kitchen later, Chloe was already there, scrolling her phone, latte in hand. She didn't acknowledge me. She rarely did unless she needed something. Ethan came a few minutes later, eyes tired. "Dad, about last night." Before he could continue, Chloe cut in smoothly. "Oh, since you're here, can you sign the papers for the lake house today? We need the buyer to confirm the offer." I sipped my tea slowly. "What papers?" She rolled her eyes, shaking her head in mock pity. "The lake house you're giving Ethan. Remember, the one your wife said should be his." My smile was small, but dangerous. I folded the newspaper. "Well," I said, "about the lake house." Chloe leaned forward eagerly, like a greedy child. "I made some decisions. The day she lost everything." The lawyer arrived that afternoon. Chloe rushed to open the door, practically beaming. "Thank God, finally. Come in, let's get the transfer started." The lawyer blinked. "Transfer? No, I'm not here for any transfer to you." She stopped mid-smile. "What?" He cleared his throat. "I'm here to finalize the updated beneficiary documents." Ethan frowned. "Beneficiary for what?" "The lake house," the lawyer said. "It has now been legally placed in a trust, and as of today, the sole beneficiary is." Chloe leaned forward, smug. "Obviously me." The lawyer blinked. "No, absolutely not." Her face cracked. "The beneficiary," he continued, "is Lily Hayes, your daughter." The shock in the room thickened the air. Chloe sputtered, rage twisting her face. "That child, you gave it to a child." "She will own it through the trust until she turns 25, the lawyer replied. Chloe turned almost feral. "Ethan, say something, fix this." But Ethan wasn't looking at her. He was staring at me. And his voice cracked when he asked, "Dad, why?" Finally I spoke. "Last night your wife mocked your mother's death. She humiliated me in my own family. She forgot that I am not a burden, I am your father." Chloe crossed her arms, sneering. "Oh, get over yourself." I held up a hand. "And since you wanted me out." She smirked victoriously. "Good, finally you're leaving." I continued. "Then you'll be leaving this house too." Her smirk fell apart. "What do you mean?" I reached into my coat and pulled out another envelope. "This house is in my name. I paid the mortgage, and I've decided to sell it." Chloe staggered. "What? No, you can't do that." The lawyer answered calmly. "He can, and he already has." Chloe's world shattered in her eyes. Everything she had built her arrogance on, gone. The final word. "You're ruining my life," she screamed. I looked at her with quiet pity. "You ruined it yourself, with your disrespect, with your selfishness, with your cruelty." She trembled with fury. "You're doing this because your wife died, because you're lonely, because—" "No," I said firmly. "I'm doing this because my wife taught me never to reward disrespect." I turned to Ethan. "You are my son. I love you. But allowing someone to destroy your dignity is not love, it is surrender." His eyes filled with regret. "I'm sorry, Dad." Chloe whipped toward him. "You're sorry for what?" But Ethan didn't answer. He followed me out the door, leaving her screaming behind us. Her voice didn't follow us out. Her power didn't follow us out. Her marriage didn't follow us out. Only silence did. But this time it was peaceful. Epilogue: peace after the storm. 2 weeks later, I sat on the porch of the lake house. The sun danced on the water. The breeze smelled of pine and morning dew. And beside me, little Lily hummed a tune, one her grandmother used to sing. My phone buzzed. A message from Ethan. Dad, I left her. I'm coming this weekend. We need to talk about rebuilding everything. I smiled. Life doesn't always give justice quickly. But when it comes, it cleans the soul. My wife had been right. Sometimes you must stand tall. Sometimes you must walk away. And sometimes, life gives you the beautiful beginning you deserved all along. Sparkle's moral of the story. 1. Respect is a two-way street. When you treat others with compassion, patience, and kindness, you deserve the same in return. Disrespect, especially toward the elderly or the grieving, destroys relationships faster than anything. 2. Greed and arrogance always destroy the greedy first. Chloe thought she could control everything through cruelty and entitlement. But her disrespect blinded her to the truth. You never win when your heart is full of arrogance. 3. Blood does not excuse disrespect. Family ties are valuable, but they do not justify staying where you are mistreated. Loyalty should never come before dignity.